And here's Patrick.
Welcome back to Georgia Peachcast, coming to you from Cherokee County, Georgia. This is Pat.
And this is Gregg.
Okay. We are now at the beginning of the voting cycle of the 2026 elections, and we will have guests to help our local citizens know who is running, what primaries are being done, and general election, what places, what timing, dates, and locations for voting places. Our first guest will happen to be on the 24th, which will be our next podcast. It is Chris Harden, who's running for U.S. House District 11. Again, that'll be on our next podcast, the 24th of this month. It has been time to be involved in what is going on in this country, but it is now critical that we all do something to get as much as possible to have our voices heard every way we can, in any way that suits your situation. And please just get involved, do something.
Yeah, and like we talked about last week, one of the most important things you can do is just pick up the phone and call your representatives, local, state, federal, and just tell them what you think. Tell them how they're doing a good job and tell them how they're screwing up. I mean, that they work for us. They don't work for just the rich people.
And some of them don't. For those who haven't done it or don't know, a number of the senators or House representatives, state or local, don't necessarily ask you to leave your name. Some do. Some ask you to leave your name and your contact information, but there are some that don't even do that. So it's not necessary to give your name out if you'd rather not. The important point is that your voice is heard and that you're doing whatever you can, so that you don't have to be, again, some people are reluctant to share their information, even to a House or a Senate representative who they're calling. So if that's the case, call the ones and just leave your opinion and don't necessarily leave your name.
But I would like to, say that you should feel very comfortable leaving your name and address if you need to. Like I always do, because I want them to know I'm a constituent of theirs and that my vote counts. And if they want my vote in the next election cycle, they better listen to me. And they better get back to me, even if it's just hey, got your message, understand, thank you very much. Yeah. I mean, I'd rather have that than Barry Loudermilk doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I do the same thing. I definitely want them to know who I am, how to get back to me, email address. I'm from Woodstock 30189, so they can zero in exactly where I am. So I'm not afraid to do that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying there are some people that are still reluctant. I'm hopefully to Gregg's point, and I hope you're not reluctant, because to let them know that they're a constituent of yours and that you're calling with a reason to leave your opinions as to what they should be doing. So, and
tell them what you think they should be doing, flat out.
Oh, absolutely.
Look, they are our employee, okay? And so, if they need the feedback.
Yeah.
As a teacher, I always loved it when my principal came in and observed my class, but I also really appreciated when my clients, the students and parents, let me know how I was doing. And so, that's really important. And if we don't call and write emails, whatever we can do, they'll just go with the people that show up at their door, and that's usually people with money that want them to vote the way the rich people want them to vote. So,
and there's nothing wrong with demanding that they do something that you're asking them to do. If it's to vote yes or no versus a bill or something that's going to be on their plate.
That's exactly
to be
right.
Following through.
Yep.
Okay. You can demand that that's what you want. You have a right as one of their constituents, as a voter, as a U.S. citizen, to do that. So don't be afraid to demand something that you think is necessary to make the life of the country and yours better than it is now.
Yep, exactly so.
And with that, how about stuff that's been going on this week?
One of the things you can reach out to our fine representatives about is, the Epstein files. Okay, we cannot let these people run away from this, and that's all they want to do. It's all they've been doing since Pam Bondi announced that, that supporting the president's election goal of, releasing the Epstein files. She had the files on her desk and the list of people who were involved. Well, they've been running from that ever since. And so, the amoral, lawless behavior of these people knows no boundaries.
Yeah.
Okay.
And back to demanding something. Remember that the Epstein files, Congress has set a date of the 19th of December, that all of the Epstein files were supposed to be released and not redacted something, they were to explain why. That hasn't happened anywhere near. Even the 3 million that they've released are not completely. They're now starting to be able to read that. You still have 3 million more documents, and even the ones that are out are still redacted. Okay?
Yeah, and interestingly, what's redacted are the names of adults, and they unredacted the names of the victims.
And I cannot understand why the Department of Department of Justice isn't being indicted for against.
Yeah, we might want to rename them the Department of Injustice.
And being indicted for against Congress. What's the word I'm looking for? Okay.
What? She was hauled in front of Congress?
No. They should be indicted for not following...
For obstruction.
Obstruction of Congress.
Obstruction of justice.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm venting.
Oh, no. That's why we're here.
On.
Don't hold back.
To Gregg's point, okay, do not let the fact that the Epstein files need to be completely released. They need the redactions to be available so that Congress, senators, and House can see those names. And then Bondi still should be apologizing to the victims whose names and addresses and information have been put out.
Yeah.
And she stood there and wouldn't turn around and wouldn't face those the other day in the hearing. And she should be held constantly being responsible for that and being held to a standard that's reasonable. There's no doubt that a secretary of
the department, the head of the Department of Justice,
head of the Department of Justice can get away with
Attorney
that kind
General.
of stuff. Anyway,
okay. So going back to what Pat said about Pam Bondi, she went full Karen on that in that congressional hearing, and if you haven't watched it, you need to go to YouTube and pull that up. It was embarrassing. And as an American, I am sick to my stomach. I mean, she's literally covering up for the group that should be known as pedos are us. Yeah. Okay. And so, and it's just rampant. And the lawlessness and corruption are out just like, are out in full force for anybody to see. And the fact that we're not in the streets by the millions screaming our heads off is a surprise to me. I mean, I know it's winter, and it's one of the colder winters we had, especially here in Georgia. But, the rampant lawlessness of this administration is just insane. I mean, we got the president suing the government because his tax records got released back. What was the date? I should know, folks. I'm sorry, I don't know the date. Yeah. But this is an actual lawsuit that he's bringing against the United States of America. Our president is suing his own government. And this is what's going to happen. This is the plan. He sues the federal government on trumped up charges about the release of his tax records. He's suing for $10 billion. Okay?
Basically, the funny thing was, what was released was he paid only, a couple of $1,000.
Oh, good God, yeah.
Yeah,
well,
it was
typical.
It was, yeah, it is.
Arrange it so that you don't have to pay anything. While I pay thousands of dollars a year. But anyway, so he sues. Well, Pam Bondi is his girl. She's the one that's going to say to the Justice Department, yes, we need to defend the U.S. government here. Oh, well, obviously the U.S. government was at fault. The Department of Justice, the Revenue Service was at fault. And so we need to pay out $10 billion to the president.
Of our money.
That is $10 billion of taxpayer money that should be going into programs that help the average American. Yeah. Like, I don't know, SNAP benefits for kids, okay? Health care and Medicare and Medicaid for seniors in particular. In other words, the people that need the help most. They're going to take $10 billion and stuff it in Donald J. Trump's pocket. And it should drive all of us to madness to even think that this is possible to happen. So if you will need to call your congressperson about something, this is a good one. Okay? Yeah. I mean, this is grand theft happening right in front of our eyes. It's like him invading Venezuela and then taking the billions of dollars in oil revenue and stuffing it in a Qatari bank account in the Middle East. He has complete control of that money. This is extortion of the Venezuelan people. I mean, it just, the bile is rising in my throat, folks. Okay? And honestly, there are some cracks, Pat. There are some cracks starting to appear in some of this voter space. So we're going to play you a little piece here. I'm sorry, you were going to say?
No, go.
We're going to play you a little piece here about a voter who's pretty fed up with this. So have a listen.
Well, here's some audio of a man who called into C-SPAN, identified himself as John from New Mexico, and a 3-time Trump voter. It's a bit long, but it's worth it. Listen.
Voted for the president, supported him, but I really want to apologize. I mean, I'm looking at this awful picture of the Obamas. What an embarrassment to our country. All this man does is tell lies. He is not worthy of the presidency. He takes bribes blatantly, and now he's being a racist blatantly. They were supposed to deport the dangerous criminals. They were not supposed to go after small children, storm schools, bring terror upon, the little kids and the women and children, not just the immigrants in the school. All the children are scared. This is not a decent man. This is not an honest man. He openly takes bribes. He's pathetic as a president, and I just want to apologize to everybody in the country for supporting this rotten man.
Nope.
Okay. That's from a podcast I listen to called The Daily Blast. It's part of a news group called the New Republic, and I highly recommend to give that a listen. It's about 20 minutes a day, and the host, Gregg, does a great job. But, this man from New Mexico really lays it out there, and how it's perfectly fine to make a public apology for what's going on.
Yeah, and that's it. Remember, keep in mind, he was an ex-Trump voter.
Yep. He was a proud Trump voter by all indications. And so what's going on in our government is not American. It's un-American. It's as un-American as you can imagine. Yeah. And so it's really important that if you're talking to your friends and neighbors and they're leaning toward this and they're having trouble pull it out, just save that little clip in your phone and pull it out and say, here, it's okay. We all make mistakes. But the question is, what do we do afterward? Right. Do we stand up, or do we continue to make the same mistake? Right.
We're going to say goodbye. Somebody in this group is going to take a vacation for a week. I don't know why.
Oh yeah, it's time. It's time to pretend to go skiing in Idaho.
So anyway, but we will be back on the 24th. Stay safe. Be as warm as you can, depending on where you are.
It's winter. Suck it up.
And one final comment, okay? I have to say, we've done it before, and we've probably not done it enough. We've got to thank the people of Minneapolis for all that they've done and all that they're doing for the whole nation. It's what they're doing is what we should all be doing across this country. And they're doing it for themselves, obviously, but they're also doing it for us. And so I want to say personally, thank you again.
And I think the important thing to remember is all of those people out there pushing back against ICE are people who are there for their neighbors. They are not there necessarily just for themselves. Right. they are there helping their neighbors.
They are.
And so the best way we can say thank you to them is to fight just as hard as they did in our own neighborhoods and in our own states, in our own counties. Thank you very much. Y'all stay safe. We'll see you next week. Well, we won't see you, but,
The week after.
hopefully you'll hear us next week.
All right.